it's Dee with Dee's Photography, and I'm going to do a really quick tutorial on minimizing blown spots on an image. Generally, I shoot in the shade for my personal style of photography, but sometimes you can't control things, like those days when the sun's going in and out of the clouds. And there happen to be quite a bit of, and with children, I kind of let them do what they want. So they kind of dictate where they go, and I mean, I'll move around if this light gets too bad, but I can work with bad lighting. This has a little bit of dapple lighting here, and this light side's blown right here. Like I said, I shoot the shade so I don't have too many images to use for this example, but I remember doing this one, so I'm going to pull this one up. First thing I do is I pull my highlights down all the way in an ACR, and I try to eliminate all the blown areas out as much as possible. So I'll use even a brush to brush through, and that little bit it's not a big deal to me. So once I do that, I just open my image in Photoshop. Alright, now that it's open, I always create a new blank layer. I don't ever work on the original background layer in case I mess up, and I like to keep that one untouched so I can refer back to it anytime I want. So I'll just create new layers and then use my cloning tool, and I always have current and below selected, and generally I'll go in and I'll clone, and this is at 50%. And I like to do a combination of cloning and brushing because, or brushing a color, because I like to do the cloning to try to get some of that texture back from skin, especially in the skin area. So sometimes I'll even go and high clone is, well, weird probably. Click over here. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. I use combination cloning, and then I use a colored brush to brush over also. So I'm just trying to grab this area that's right by it that I want it to sort of resemble. Sometimes my brush goes crazy on my cloning, so. And this is just, like I said, cloning an area that's nearby that I want to minimize my blown area. And I'm only brushing at 50%, so that helps too. I generally actually brush at 100 or clone at 100%, but when I'm actually just minimizing a blown area, I will brush at 50% so I can blend it better. Alright, so that was pretty quick. That was before, after. And if it's too bad blown, I'll also get a another new blank layer, get a brush, select a color, a skin, and brush in at like 50% over that area, and then I will minimize it down here, and sometimes I'll even duplicate that layer that's got the colors brushed over the highlights and go and put it on multiply as well, and it adds more of a dimension to it too. So there was that. Alright, and then after I fix the blown area, like I said, this one didn't have too bad of a blown area on it. But like I said, I generally shoot in the shade, so I don't have too many images that are blown out on the sides of the faces or anything like that. Let me try to find another one for you guys to do it on. Alright, I found another picture that has a few blown spots. This one actually was overexposed, and with sunset, so actually the bone spots are kind of a different color tone, so we'll try to work on that too. Like I said, I always take it into raw first and do what I can to get rid of as much of the blown areas as possible. Background bone doesn't bother me too much, as long as it's especially sky, that doesn't bother me. But as long as the grass and stuff like that isn't blown too bad, then I'm okay with it all. And that was before it was really blown. Well, it's just really overexposed, so blur everything out. Just my first shots, my test lighting. Alright, anyway, so we're gonna open this up. Minimize it pretty much. Alright, once it's open up, new blank layer, like I said before. Go into my blown areas, grab my cloning brush, and just clone at around 50% over these areas that are much more blown. And this is just so that I can try to get the similar tone to the bone area and similar texture, because skin has a texture. I gotta be careful because sometimes I get crazy with my clones. Oops. Yeah, don't get crazy on your cloning like I do sometimes. Grabbing parts of a shirt to put on your arm doesn't clone very pretty. And as, like I said, you can tell that the coloring is different because it was so, it was at sunset, so the highlight was right before sunset, actually, when that light's still pretty strong, but it can blow out and leaves kind of an orange glow. So what you can do is go in and clone this up too. Same technique, just apply to a shirt or clothing. Like I said, I'm at 50%. And this is more just for the color right here than anything else. There's also a little bit blown on the neck. Alright. Alright, so let me zoom out. You can see the fixed spots that blown. It's a little bit discolored and not consistent on the arm, which I don't like. So I generally go in and get, like I said earlier, with a brush. It's at 50%. And I'll brush it right over the arm and over the neck area and the ear. And minimize or reduce the opacity, sorry, to 50%, so it blends a little better. New one, multiply, and go down even lower, 10%. And they're still, like I said, discolored. So to do that, I will do another layer, set it to color. And I already have that skin tone color selected. And I'm at 50%. I'm just going to brush it over where it's kind of got that orange glow on him. I don't think anyone else has got that on them. He's got it on his fingers. He's even got it on his jeans, so I'll grab blue part of the jean. And do a quick brush over that. Just so the color blends just a bit better. And then on the shirt, I'm just going to get black. Brush over parts of the shirt because it's black and white mainly. A little bit of red. But that should cover most of the color. There we go. So that was with the bone areas, and that was minimizing all that area. And then I usually group those together at the bottom and label my correction. And like I said, I always keep them separated from my background layer. I never apply it to my background layer. I don't even flatten. Here I keep it all saved together so I can at any time go in, and if I notice, oh, I cloned it, I didn't like the way it cloned later on or something, I can easily correct it because I have it all saved on my layers. And I'm just going to use an action run over it really quick, Inner Light, which is from the Inspired set. And all actions, I believe, should be tweaked to fit your image. Quick adjust, you can turn them on and off to see what they do. Just lighten and brighten it up, especially with the midtones, and you can actually look at your adjustments and notice what it's actually doing. So we're going to pull it down to 40%, and this deepens it up just a bit. Warm tone, we'll brighten it up too. This adds a nice soft warmth, especially on that area. This is the vignette, which you can see on the bottom here, and you can even increase it some since there's no sky, so you're not seeing it applied up here. And the last thing I would do, and I believe you should always combine if you're using actions, like I said, go in and change your layers and also do your own hand editing to fit the actual image. So I think it needs a little bit more contrast for my personal style, so I'm going to do brightness contrast and then pull it up quite a bit. I'm at 55%, which is very too strong, and I'm going to pull my opacity back down to help it blend better. Alright, so that would be before, after, and if I take off that correction folder, you can see all the blend spots, and turn it back on, and blends a little bit better for me. So that's pretty much how I correct any time I have a blown area on the face or skin, and like I said, I shoot generally in the shade, so I try to avoid that, and that's just a personal style. But I do also come across it sometimes, so that's just a couple techniques you can use in combination to help correct those areas. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks.